Hello, people of the internet. Welcome to some more custom terrain development. So, very exciting. I've come up with, well, I say I, Spider, Robot Man, and I, with some help from Oh Nowhere, for the suggestion, have come up with a new way of detecting the top block in a column, the top solid block in a column, and the bottommost air block in a column, which means that instead of the current cave detection system, which is this thing here, we have a much shorter system, which not only is it's shorter, less command blocks, but it can it's not limited to checking Y 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. It can check any height for air in a cave kind of thing, which is pretty sweet. We might implement that today. We might just work on the spawn. I think I'm going to work on the spawner thing first. But the way it works is really clever. What it does is it chooses the column that you want to find the highest or lowest block for, and it replaces all air with stone buttons. Now, if a stone button is set block in the middle of the air, it just pops off as an item. If it's placed on a solid block, it will place as a block. So what we do is we set block buttons, stone buttons, in every column where there is air, and then in that same tick, they will pop off as items. So we then execute on all buttons to look for button items that have a button block directly below them, meaning that they are in an air block with an air block below them, kind of thing. And then it summons an armor stand at each button which finds a placed button under it, and then you can work out which one is the closest or the furthest away from the bottom based on that. And we can actually we could do this in 1.8. I don't know why I didn't think of it. We can calculate the Y height of any entity using like 3 commands or something. Because the way that 1.8 tower generation worked is it summoned an armor stand really, really high up in the sky with a very high downward velocity and basically launched it at the ground until it hit the ground, and then it would summon a tower there based on what kind of block type it landed on. Hang on a second. Still trying to shake this cough. Jeez. So, as it was falling, I was just taking away 1 from its Y height every tick, and basically guessing its Y height that way. But what I've realised we can do is we can use a clone command, which basically looks something like this. We would go executing off our entity. We would go clone, level with 2256. Like this, to itself. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we would basically set an affected block stat on the entity. Then we do the clone, and the number of blocks. We would basically do filtered force. So this is the same thing we use to detect biomes, where we basically clone a section of blocks to itself. Except I don't think we actually need filtered force because we're cloning everything to itself. And basically this will clone everything between the entity and the very top height. Thank you. I put the wrong. There we go. This will clone every block between the height of the entity and the top height of the world. And the number it gives back as the success count of the affected blocks is its distance from the ceiling. So then all we have to do is take away 256 from the number we get, or something like that, and that'll give us its Y height. Like instantly in a couple of blocks. So we're going to stick that on the end of our X and Z finder, which has also been shrunk down by somebody. I haven't looked at that yet, but it's looking pretty cool. The person who shrunk that down's name is Greyman123 on Twitter. So at some point I'm going to look at that as well, because it's pretty cool that you can make it smaller. And yes, it's not Wait, did I not actually? It looks like I just exited out of my example command. Fair enough. Yeah, it's a solid 256, not a tilde 256. Of course, because we're checking for the absolute on one end and the relative at the other, and the distance between the two tells us its height. So that's pretty exciting. You may notice also that I have a few sort of structures around here now. The last live stream I did, the recording failed, which is unfortunate. And I've actually just realised that I'm not recording right now. The recording failed, and I split the stream into two, and Beam only keeps the most recent live stream. So it kind of, yeah, we had problems. I couldn't upload it to the YouTube channel, unfortunately. We didn't really do a huge amount. I don't quite remember what we did. I think we were mostly just looking at deciding whether a dungeon should be an ocean dungeon or a regular dungeon. I think that might be what we did in the last stream. Hi, Bluefire, welcome to the stream. By the way, hi guys, Super Jerry, No Nineser, Janice T. So we've got a couple of new dungeons, which I think I mentioned in the previous stream, but we, for viewers looking at this on YouTube later, we've got this this ocean dungeon thing, which I haven't put any chests into yet, but it's pretty much done. I've converted it to a one-click generation, so that over there is the original, and this is the one created by command blocks. I haven't converted this Podzol dungeon at all yet. It's made by, effect. It's made by Duck Jr. and it's supposed to have witch spawners in it, but the witch spawners will not drop. The witches will not drop anything. They'll just be a nuisance. So that's kind of a cool one. We've got this desert jungle, desert dungeon, which I have finished converting, which is kind of neat. We've got two spawners up here. This the block inside this space changes depending on the bedrock below, so it can be dirt, iron, gold, diamond. I think that's it. And emerald. And, one thing I didn't finish is that I wanted to randomly trap these chests, so to put TNT under some of them but not others, depending on the bedrock. But in general, I've converted quite a few of them. And we've got this really cool graveyard by Twinkles, which I've been converting as well. It's not quite finished. What I'm doing is I'm using the bedrock below to, and I'm actually making a video about the creation of this, like a separate video. I'm using the bedrock below to randomize the dungeons quite a bit, so you can see all these patches on the floor. That's the bedrock pattern below. You can see this one over here has got a different floor pattern. Likewise, the cracked and not cracked bricks here are based on the bedrock floor, and whether or not these gravestones are mossy or not is also dependent on the bedrock, so that each one looks a little different. And you can see I'm using the bedrock. I'm in the middle of doing this, and I've basically cloned a chunk of bedrock up here, and then I'm going to hollow that out and carve out this thing here. So lots of cool stuff going on. I think we're going to have a nice range of new structures coming in for 1.9, which will be nice. Bluefire says, am I going to use non-existent loot tables for all the spawners now? Not all. I don't mind people making like spawner farms out of some of these dungeons, but witches, I don't want witch spawners. I don't want guardian spawners because they can be abused. I think it's quite cool when people make witch farms and guardian farms because they're not simple affairs, and I think it's quite a cool project to take on in a world. So I don't really want to take that away from people. And for towers, I'm either going to remove the wither skeletons, or I'm going to stop the wither skeletons dropping skulls, because we've got, I've seen them in use, and people just make wither skeleton skull farms, and they get hundreds and hundreds of skulls, and beacons and withers are far too easy to get hold of very early on in the game, so they're probably going to go. So that's me rambling on for a little bit. I have Bluefire designed this dungeon, and I have made slight modifications in his. There's this little alcove. Whoop, there's a little alcove back here with the spawners, but in mine I took it out because I didn't feel like it was adding a huge amount to the dungeon. It does look nice, but it was quite a lot of command blocks to generate that extra section because it's not a very clonable shape. Like, these pillars are different distances apart from any other pillars, so I'd have to generate them in quite a few sections and things like that. I might still add it, but currently I'm thinking of just leaving it out. Where's the way out? So today we're going to work on the spawner generation. So the placing of the spawner. So you can see in this up here, I've got a GM4 spawner 1 armor stand, and they all have spawner armor stands inside them. Did I actually add those to our first type of spawner? I think we have some of those around here somewhere. Naturally generated. There's one. Okay. Yeah, we do have them spawning. Okay, that's fine. So, currently, that's this line here, GM4 spawners 1. It's quite a small little section, and it's not going to take very long to convert. What is this? Have we finished with this? This is dungeon spawning. I think we are done with that. We've got plenty of working examples over there, and this is... I think... Why are there two things here? Yeah, because we only had the one dungeon. Oh, you know what? This one is for determining which height to summon the spawner at, the dungeon at, and this one here is the actual generation of the dungeon. So we're done with all of this. Just get rid of that quickly to keep things tidy. Tidy. Good. Okay. So, GM4 Spawners 1 is going to stay pretty much the same, but we're going to go over the conversion process so everybody who's watching this to work out how it all works knows how it works. Spawn Dungeon 1, 2, and 3. That's 1, 2, 3. We've got that one as 4, so I'm going to leave a space. And we may have a couple of other structures we're adding as well, like the graveyard. That's currently being generated over here because I'm lazy and I just wanted it to be nearby. I need to tidy these up at some point. They're getting a little messy, but it's all looking pretty good. So we're going to put it here for now. Summon armor stand. GM4 spawn. Wait. This should have a specific name actually, which is GM4 Spawners 1. Summon armor stand. Custom name GM4 Spawners 1. Custom name visible 1. No gravity 1. Okay. So, what we're doing here is we are analyzing the bedrock below the entity which is requested that it becomes a spawner. We are looking at the bedrock to work out what kind of spawner it should be, and then we are killing the entity. So it will basically replace the entity with a spawner. So let's make a copy of all this so we can delete the blocks without worrying about having to re-import everything. There we go. That one can go. This one can go. Alright. So, Scoreboard players set at E type equals armor stand name equals GM4 spawner 1. GM4 DS type 0. Okay, we've changed DS type to just DS, I believe. Okay, yeah, it does exist. We also need to copy that like so. So that's setting DS0, good. Stats, entity, Geom4 spawner 1, topic understand, set affected blocks. Okay, so that's setting the affected block stat. Again, DS type, I think. Are there two separate things there? No, it is DS type for both. Okay. I also realized that this is now spawner 1 to meet the Gamemode 4 standard. Topics understanding was GM4 spawner 1. When I'm done generating all these, I'm going to export them using a filter into a text file and go through and check that all the name standards match and fill and replace anything that needs doing. And then I'm planning to release a developer version of this, which is going to be sort of uncoiled and sort of not entirely finished, but working for people who want to develop their own structures and things for it. So it'll be a working but not finished release, if that makes sense. So people can start developing for it if they want. So next we execute on the spawner 1 armor stand to basically we are trying to work out what bedrock combinations there are underneath. So we are cloning from Y3 to Y4, 3 to 4, all the bedrock to count how much bedrock there is between Y3 and 4. Again, changing this to spawner 1. This is spawners 1, and in here, in the actual things, they're called spawner 1. I've actually given them a capital S. We'll have to change that. Which dungeon is that? That's this one. Always active. Let's get rid of these guys. And they should be correctly named now. Yep, okay. We'll have to change that for the other dungeons as well. Dungeon 1. We'll have them somewhere over here. Spawners 1. That's to actually tell it to run. And the spawners themselves. It's custom chests. There it is. Spawner 1. Spawner 1. I think there's 5 of these guys. There we go. Okay, where were we? So we are executing on GM4 spawner 1, clone 3 to their full to force Minecraft bedrock. We can get rid of that. So that's going to count how much bedrock it finds. Okay, so both of these two over here, which are the only ones that currently exist, have got 0 bedrock between 3 and 4 below them. Let's have a look. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay. Because out of interest, I'm just going to put a piece of bedrock there, and we'll see if they if it gets a different score now, it should get a score of 1 for one of them. Okay, that's bad news. That should be lowercase s, that's why. There we go. Okay, good. I'm glad I checked that. Dwitty, thank you for following on Beam. Hello, welcome to the stream. Duck Jr., welcome to the stream. We're working on the spawners system, which is going to be really quick to finish, really. Unless we come across a horrible, horrible problem, which seems to happen a lot here. Then we clear the affected blocks stat from the entity, really? Okay. So if it has a DS type of 0, we put a zombie spawner there. Okay. I don't know why we clear the thing there. If it has a score of 2, okay, right. So we're only using those 2 layers of bedrock because we only have 4 spawner types. So it's basically saying if... Oh, I see. And we clear it because the set block would otherwise interfere with the score. So we're gonna keep that then. So we're gonna clear that, which is gonna stop it from updating. So that's entity clear affected blocks. Okay, so that'll stop it from changing when it places any spawners. So if the score is 0, that means that there is no bedrock at 3 or 4. So that's condition 1. And if that's the case, then we summon a zombie spawner. That, change that to DS and change that to spawner 1. Then we go, if there is bedrock at 3 and 4, i.e. the score is 2, then we set a creeper spawner. So 1, GM4, DS, min equals 2, set block, mob spawner. Now, I did a test to look at the different chances of getting different bedrock combinations, and I don't know where the results of that are anymore, but I do know that different combinations are more or less likely. So I believe that the way I've chosen it is that things like creeper spawners are quite rare, so the chance of having bedrock at 3 and 4 is less likely than having it at a different height. So technically they're different amounts of chance that you're going to get each of these types of spawner, but I'm not really sure what the exact percentages are. The skeleton spawner, what we do now is, because we've determined that it doesn't have no bedrock at 3 and 4, and it doesn't have bedrock at 3 and 4, so we do an execute detect to work out whether it's at 3 or at 4. So if the score is 1, then we detect 3 Minecraft bedrock, and if we find it, we place the skeleton spawner, and then we do the same thing detecting bedrock at 4 if that one fails. So again, I don't know if the entity format has changed for spawners, actually. We may find that these spawners are empty, because I do remember they recently changed the format for spawners. We may have to change it. Spawner 1, GM4, DS, min equals 1. Let's go GM4, DS. Equals 1. I wonder how this would differ if we use tags instead of affected blocks. I think it'll be probably worse because we have to check for 2 tags at once, and that means double executing. So I think we're fine to keep it like this. Twitty says, so you're using bedrock as a randomizer to determine what kind of entity the spawner will be. Well, it's a unique and eccentric way of doing things, XD. Basically, the reason we're doing this is that, unlike a randomizer, this is This is a seed-specific randomizer. So if I give you a seed and I give you the one-click install for custom terrain, and I load up the same seed on my computer, and you upload the same one on your computer, and we both install custom terrain, we can go to the same coordinate, and we will both get a spawner in exactly the same. Both get a dungeon in exactly the same spot, and we will both get the same items in the chests, and we'll get the same spawners inside. But if we then flew off somewhere else, we get a different dungeon, and it would have different spawners to the first dungeon we visited, but we would again both have the same spawners in it. So it's basically seed-specific randomization. And an interesting fact is that the bedrock pattern in the floor is the same for every world. So every world has exactly the same bedrock pattern. So I use the different stone types, which are seed-specific but not world universal, to work out if a dungeon should be spawned. So I'll use a stone with a damage of 1 in a certain spot to generate the dungeon. But then for the spawners inside, because bedrock is such a nice, either it's there or it's not, binary kind of thing, once we've decided that a dungeon is going to go here, we then use the bedrock for the smaller things. So I use bedrock for quite a lot of randomization in this system. So yeah, that's kind of the reason. So we're detecting 3 bedrock, set block mob spawner skeleton, and then we do the same thing at 4 for the spider spawner. When I did custom terrain at first, I was using Minecraft colon everywhere because I was pretty sure that it was going to be required in the future, and currently that still isn't the case. So for now, I'm going to take it out. G4DS type, G4DS, spawner 1. Okay, spider. We're going to have to check each of these combinations to make sure it's working. Kill the armor stand. It will have processed all armor stands in this one tick at once. So by the end of this line, all armor stands waiting for a score will have been processed, and that is our part of the fill. I don't know why that's there. It isn't here. Okay, I think that's just part of the old clock, not part of the spawner system. So there we go. That should be converted now. I'm just going to push the button and see what happens. We should get 2 different spawners up here. Pig spawners! Yay! Okay, the format has changed. One second. Man, this cough. Okay, I'm just looking at the chunk format page, and I'm going to look at the mob spawner format. Where is that? Mob spawner. So entity ID, which is what I was using, is deprecated in 1.9. Both mob entity IDs and other entity IDs will work. Okay, so I think we're changing this to spawn data. Spawn data contains tags to copy to the next spawned entities after spawning. Any of the entity or mob tags may be used. I'm kind of tempted to add another spawner type in these dungeons that's kind of rare, which can spawn like all 4 types of mob. I don't know if that's a bit OP or whether it would be cool or whether we shouldn't do it. Actually, I'm not sure. Morning Lairite. Yeah, I'm streaming a little earlier than usual. So spawn data, which is a... Let's try summoning one of these spawners then. So set block mob... No, okay, yeah, fine. Set block mob spawner. 0 spawn data. And then in here we have to put I think we're putting this ID zombie. I think that's all we need. Nope. I wonder why I was shaking around. This creeper was pushing me. Be in lava. Go on. Or whatever. Okay. Spawn data contains tags to copy to the next spawned entity after spawning. Do we need other things? Oh, Bluefire sent something. Entity ID is apparently... Entity ID is deprecated in 1.9, apparently. Bluefire. Spawn data, ID zombie. Well, didn't I just do that? Spawn data. Oh, there's not a second set of brackets here, apparently. I thought that was like an array of possible mobs to spawn. That didn't work either. Spawn. Oh, nearly knocked my coffee over there. ID zombie. I might have to look at the spawn generator site, because that isn't working either. What's that mob spawner site called? Somebody literally recently just linked to it in one of the Gamemode 4 chats. Minecraft.tools/en spawn.php. I think that's it. Create mob spawner. Creeper. Right, what's the code look like? Spawn count 1. Entity ID. Oh, right, 1.9. Okay, I was looking at the wrong one there. It's still got the entity ID tag. Okay. I wonder if that's the display entity. Also, I don't know. I also put that in the wrong place. Right, let's move that to here. ID creeper. Nope. Do I have to specify information like spawn count and nearby entities and stuff like that? Oh, I'm an idiot. Right. I need because it's a set block, I need the replace type. I do this every time. Right, there's our zombie spawner, even though we said... Okay, so it is ignoring entity ID. Man, I do that so often. I forget the spawn type. Okay, and it is spawning them. So, spawn data ID zombie. Got it. No biggie. Spawn data ID zombie. Creeper. Skeleton. Spider. Alright. Push the button. So we get, again, nothing. Damn it. Oh, right, we have to regenerate the dungeon. And we appear to be summoning a new chest entity every time. We should fix that. Alright, what do we have up here? There should be two different spawners. One of them didn't spawn. That's weird. Did I only enable one of them? Okay. I'm gonna... This should actually activate itself. Oh, it doesn't because we haven't told it to at the end of that line yet. It's not setting one of them. It's just killing it. That's weird. Let's disable the kill at the end. The kill at the end. And actually copy this. Okay. It's kind of weird. That also didn't trigger that. Failed to execute. Topic example stand name equals GM4 spawners 1. Okay, well, the entity is being summoned. Those flames are just a visual bug, by the way. If I break that block and then try summon the spawner, do we get an issue? It's weird. Okay, which suggests that one of our bedrock combination detection things isn't working. Let's go take a look at what order we actually have down here. So at 3 and 4, looking at 3 bedrock, 4 no bedrock. So that should be this one. Execute at e name equals GM4 spawner 1. Score GM4DS min equals 1. Score GM4DS equals 1. Detect 3 bedrock 0. Set block. Mob spawner 0 place 1 data ID. Oh, missing a bracket. And here. Okay. Problem solved. So, not sure. GM4 execute at E, name equals gm4 spawners 1. GM4 spawners 1. Apparently the entity doesn't exist. Sorry, I wasn't reading the chat for a second there. Why can't some of these things just spawn flame arrows or poison potions? That'd be cool. Or leash knots. Okay. What's wrong with this? Okay, it exists. Oh, it's block data. I'm an idiot. Auto 1. Okay, so I'm just going to move that to over here. Yeah, it's entity data here as well. Why is it entity data? I guess I put it here in the first place. Block data. Okay. I think there's a bit of a stream delay because you guys are finally noticing that I've put the brackets in the commands over there, which was quite a while ago for me. That's a shame. I hate stream delay. Okay, so if we now push this button, we should get... Oh, it's not killing the entities. There we go. A skeleton spawner and a zombie spawner. Okay, let's head down there. Okay, so 3 and 4. Let's try putting bedrock in both spots. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, so bedrock in both spots. We should get a creeper spawner. Good, creeper spawner. Kind of surprised that there's appears to be a bit of pillar missing here. It's weird. Maybe I broke it when I broke in there. Okay, so that was creeper. Let's try... We've already seen zombie, right? This way. So let's try no bedrock. No bedrock is zombie. Apparently. Yeah, that makes sense. Which is with skeleton, which is at Y3, and spider, which is at Y4. So we already had skeleton at Y3. I think we saw that, right? So the last one to check is spider at Y4 only. So let's go do that. Y4 only. There we go. So that should give us spider, which are actually quite ungainly. In was that dungeon 2 I just clicked? No, it wasn't. Okay. Spiders are quite ungainly in these dungeons because they're just too big, really. But yeah, good. It's working. Fantastic. Only took 50 minutes. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, in the interests of spreading this up nicely into videos, I'm going to stop the stream here, download it because I forgot to hit record, like local record. So we're going to take a short break of maybe like 10 minutes or something, and then we will we will play around with Spawners 2, which is going to require some rethinking because they're currently OP. I like what we've got in them. I like the idea of adding some more types of spawner. Maybe we'll add Spawners 3, which is things like, as you say, poison potions and flame arrows and things like that. I think that could be kind of cool. I think the issue with flame arrows is that we have to make them like pop out in random directions. We're going to have to specify several different flame arrows with different velocities in them or something. But we can play around with that in the next stream. So I'll take a quick break and I'll see you guys later.